Hello, welcome back to our fourth episode of Pink Diaries. So excited to be here with my amazing co-host and friend Lala Asif with Innerworks.
And this is my friend and co-host Veronica Ray with Jigsaw and Associates. Thank you for joining us today. Today our guest is Stephanie Lassak.
Yes, and Stephanie is going to share with us an amazing story that she has about her journey with her pregnancy, a bit of a difficult pregnancy, as well as being an Army wife.
Right.
So Stephanie, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I work in a law firm, and I have also a master's in pastoral counseling. And so I have two jobs. I also own my own cupcake business, and I raise a 5-year-old. And like you said, my husband is in the Army, and we deal with deployments a lot. So
Yes.
Yes, must be so hard.
it can be.
It can be.
Mhm.
It can be.
Yes.
Stephanie, I have an understanding that you had a really tough pregnancy. And some trials that came with it, having some heart problems with your baby. Would you please tell us about that?
Okay. Well, when I was pregnant with my son, I found out in second trimester that he had a heart defect. It was a left hypoplasty heart, and pregnancy was pretty good for most part. And then about 4.5 to 5 weeks early, I got very sick, and they ended up having to take him by emergency C-section. And we were separated for about a week. He was in a Tulsa hospital. I was in Norman. And during that time, the Tulsa hospital had done some tests and realized that they couldn't really help him. And so by the time I got to Tulsa, they were making arrangements to send us to St. Louis Children's. And Liam was put on a heart transplant list. And so he was born in 2011. So Easter weekend of 2011, my son received, at 4 weeks old, received a brand new heart.
Oh, wow.
And so, we've had some, he has medications, he has, labs that we have to do quite a bit. And in resulting in that, because of the medications, he developed lymphoma of his left lung. And so we have been through chemotherapies. We still deal with health issues as far as he has to keep certain levels. If his levels get too high, the lymphoma will come back. If his levels get too low, the body can reject the heart. So it's kind of a catch-22, and it's a yo-yo back and forth. But he's strong. I mean, he's as strong as a little ox. He's gone through the fighter, and he's handled it all really well.
And he has a very strong mama, I can tell that.
Yes.
We take all this for granted. Going through a pregnancy, having babies. I want to know, how did you manage to stay so strong during all this time?
When I found out that he had the heart problem, granted I was scared, and I was, wasn't sure how to handle it and what I would do for him. But I just had to sit and pray and just say, you know what, God, you gave him to me as a gift. He was, he's my child. I trust you that everything is going to work out.
Absolutely. Yes.
And he has. And I remember, I can't remember the name of the song, but there was a song that I heard on Air one day when I was driving, and it was talking about not walking beside me, in front of me, or behind me, but always walking beside me and holding me and making sure that everything was right. And I was just like, okay, that's it. He's got this. I'm not going to worry.
Right. Yes.
So
what was that like, having your child was in St. Louis? Is that what? And so did you return to Oklahoma during that time?
I would only come back about every other week, but when we got there, I'd only been back twice. And that was to just take care of bills and take care of the house.
Right.
Right, because the life still goes on. Nobody stops for me,
Right,
So
right, yes.
I mean, you have to keep paying the bills. And my job was awesome. They worked with me. They very, very patient. My attorneys are the best. But that weekend was Easter weekend, and I had come home because I needed to get things taken care of. I needed to, just get everything back on track and get caught up. And I remember coming home, and a friend of mine had dinner, and I got home that night, and I went to sleep early, and I turned my phone on, and because I didn't want to miss anything, and I woke up in the middle of the night and my phone was blinking and that I had a message, and I was shocked that I didn't hear it. And when I listened to the voicemail, it was the transplant team telling me that they had received the heart and he was going into surgery the next day. And I'm not going to say I drove the fastest to St. Louis, but I made it in 6 hours to St. Louis, you know.
Wow,
and
this is fast.
yeah, that was pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I know a friend called me and he said, where are you? And I had already crossed into Missouri, and he was like, how fast are you driving? And I was like, you don't want to know. And I was like, you don't want me to lie to you. You don't want to know that. So.
It's a mom driving. I need to be there.
That's right. Yes.
Stephanie, when you heard that they found a heart for him, tell me about that moment.
It's really a bittersweet moment because you're excited because you're thinking. One of the things I had remembered that the transplant team had told me was, when we call and tell you that there's a heart, don't get your hopes up right away because things change. The thing with this is it was all a God thing for us. When I called her back, I was, still half asleep, and I remember asking her, is this a real thing? Do I need to come back? And she was like, oh yeah, it's the real thing. He's going into surgery in the morning. And this is like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, I cannot make it back in time for the surgery when it was supposed to start. And she was like, oh, don't worry, we've moved it. And I thought, oh great, they're gonna move it till I get back. They only moved it back a couple hours. I still didn't make it, but but my mom was there with me, which was great. And but at the same time, you have such a long drive, so it gives you a lot to think about. And so, you think back about the family that had to say yes.
Right.
You can have my child's heart. And the grief that they have to go through. And it did make me really sad. And, but at the same time, I can't, and I don't mean this to sound cruel, but you can't really concentrate and think about that all the time. You can't put all your effort onto that. You have to get back and go, okay, this is my son. What do I have to do to raise him? What do I have to do to take care of him, keep him healthy? And one of the best things I could tell you is that every hour in the surgery, they'll call and tell you the progress. And I missed the first hour call. But they called back in like a half an hour later, which I got that call, and they we're just telling you that everything's going great. They're putting the heart in now, so it's going to be a little bit. And I was like, okay. So went and got some breakfast and came back, and they called, and the nurse said, I just let you know that the doctor is closing him up. And the thing about that, which makes that so awesome, is that he had called me when I was driving. And he told me, he said, now, I want you to understand something, that when you see him after surgery, most likely his chest will still be open. It'll be covered, but he'll be open because he goes, I haven't seen the heart, so he wasn't sure about if it would fit. And I asked her to repeat. I was like, what did you say? And she's like, yes, he's closing up his chest, and he'll be up to tell you. And in the next 45 minutes or so, he came back up, and he came in where my mom and I were sitting, and he said that the heart was a perfect fit.
That's amazing.
Everything lined up perfect. And he goes, give us an hour, and then you can go back to his room and see him. And the most wonderful sight in the world is to see your baby laying there with pink cheeks and pink coloring where he was gray.
So, Stephanie, can you tell us, what is it like now? You've brought this baby home, and he's a bundle of joy. I got an opportunity to meet him. He's a handsome little guy. And so now, what is life like for you?
My husband has been on 2 deployments since he's been born. I handle all his doctor's appointments. If he gets sick, he has a certain limit with his temperature. If he gets too high, I have to take him to the ER. Most of the time, I'm going to say 95% of the time, he's usually admitted. So they can figure out what it is that's caused the fever. And so, we live in the hospitals on and off, depending. When he was diagnosed with the lymphoma, it started off with RSV. And somebody at daycare had that, at his home daycare. he's never been in a commercial daycare. He's always been in a home daycare.
Mhm.
So somebody had that, and I didn't know about it until after. He happened to get it, and it just went from there, and it kicked off the lymphoma in him.
Right.
And so now he has a constant cough. So we have to spend the night in hospitals. There's been many nights that we go to the ER and get admitted, and I have to have a nurse or have someone sit with him so I could drive home and get clothes to come back. You know.
Right. Yes.
And then my parents live about an hour away, so my mom would come up in the mornings and try to stay with him while I would work. So it's hold down a full-time job. At one point, it was full-time job, a part-time job, school, him,
Yes.
and you have to fit everything together, and it just becomes your life, and you get to where it's just routine. So
Right.
this, and it's just like a circle. It's like the circle of life.
Right.
And so how do you have an opportunity to fit time in for Stephanie?
That is a good question. If I want time for myself, all I have to do is tell my mom, especially with my husband being gone, and my mom will come and get him for the weekend, and it gives me that chance for that weekend to sit at home. I can sleep in if I want to. I can
Right.
just lay in bed and watch TV if I want. Laundry, clean house, whatever I want to do, I need to get done. I don't have to cook if I don't want to.
Yes.
So that kind of gives me that. In my church life, the church that I go to is amazing. They're great support. They pray for us. They keep us constantly looked after. So it's really nice.
Well, and it's nice to hear that you take that time for yourself as well. Even with all the struggles and difficulties that you're going through in life, the challenges that we are faced with in life, that that it is important for you to take time for yourself also.
Well, if I don't take time for myself, then I'm going to get worn down.
Yes,
and then
ma'am.
if I'm sick and I'm no good to myself, I can't be any good to him. And he is my number one priority. So I have to
Absolutely.
stay healthy and stay refreshed, mind, soul, body, everything. So I
Absolutely.
can.
What an awareness.
Yes.
What an awareness. I'm
Very
so proud
true.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so proud of you.
Yeah.
Mhm. So as we wrap up, Lola, do you have any more
I
questions?
actually have one more question. So, as you talked about that your husband is deployed at this time and you're an army wife, tell me how you deal with him not around when you're going through all of this, and what goes on through your mind, the fear of whatever is going on where he is as a partner, lover, wife. How
I talk to him. I get to talk to him pretty much daily,
Okay.
which is really great. We get to FaceTime. He gets to see Liam. It is tough. We had a little scare last year, and he wasn't here.
Right.
Sometimes your mind starts wondering worst case scenarios
Exactly.
sometimes. So, I always figure what if he gets sick and they can't get him back in time,
Right.
and he doesn't, for God forbid,
For some reason,
yeah.
yeah.
And so it's like, just stay positive.
Right.
And he is my positive strength. I mean, I can cry, I'm not very emotional when it comes to crying. I've learned to shut that down so he doesn't see me cry, and I can be strong for him. And so, our little scare, I got a little bit emotional, and my husband, he let me cry to him, and when it was done, he was like, you know what, you've got this, you're a strong woman, you can handle this. He's a strong child, he's going to get through this as
That's
well.
right.
And he goes, just know that I'm here, and I'm with you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
but and it is really, it's an honor for me to be his wife and to support him. He's an awesome husband.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So nice to
So,
hear.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we support our troops as well.
We definitely do.
Yes, we
Yes.
have to have our troops, and we are so thankful for our troops, and so thankful for you, the spouses of the troops, because it is. I've also have experience with being a former
Right.
spouse of a troop, and it's not an easy journey
No, it's
to
not
go
easy.
through. So we definitely thank you for that. One final question that I have is, what can you share for a viewer who is watching that has gone through or is going through this journey of knowing something is wrong with my child?
Usually your first instinct, your first gut's going to be right. If he says he's tired, that's usually a catch to something. If he tells me he has a headache, that means he's not feeling well. So for me, that means keep a really close eye on him,
Right.
and especially if his temperature shoots up. That means something's going on, and be prepared to take him in. So just listen to them, watch them. You know their routine. You know how they're going to act, how they behave in certain scenarios. If they start acting out of that ordinary, then that tells you there's something wrong, and you have to like extra careful and watch.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to add into?
being an Army wife
Yeah.
is really tough. I mean, I've only been doing this for 5 years as an Army wife. Some people have done it a lot longer than I have. But right now I'm an FRG coordinator for my husband's Army unit, and it's a family readiness group. And we have a lot of wives that are new. That's the first deployment. They've never been on it. You know, my advice to you is to understand that life does not stop. I mean, you're sad, you're upset. I totally understand. I get that. But nobody around you is going to understand that, and they're not going to stop their lives for us. So it's just important for them to look inside themselves, find their strength, find who they are, and keep at it. You know, fill the empty spaces with hobbies, fill it with be an entrepreneur, you know, find new friends. You know, our FRG, my friends, I've got new friends, you know, with my FRG wives.
Right.
And, you know, we get together, we do things, we do fundraisers for the unit. We are actually getting together around Valentine's Day for Army Wives Luncheon, you know, to celebrate Valentine's and to celebrate with no kids around, just wives.
Yes,
just be
that's
a
right.
wife. Not have to be a wife, just be a woman.
Right.
Right.
You know, express yourself. It's okay if you want to cry. Cry, laugh, drink wine, and be happy. Just
Right.
Yes.
be yourself. Let yourself just be. You just have to make time for yourself. And you know, you're an awesome spouse. You're married to a military. You're an awesome spouse. You support him. You're with him. You support the flag, your country. But you have to realize that you're an awesome woman too.
Definitely.
That's right.
You know, you have got your own special gifts, and to tap into that and be your own person.
Oh, this made me so
Yes.
happy by talking like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yes.
Yes. So if you would like to share your story on Pink Diaries, please email us at pinkdiaries.tv@gmail.com. You can also comment below. Send us any questions that you might have. Lala, anything else?
That's about it. And you know, make sure if you like the video and share it, this will help us as well. And as we expose our vulnerabilities, it gives you permission to be yourself. Thank you and good night.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.